Hello dear students, good morning to all of you. As we have started the third chapter, that is public, private and global enterprise, and in this series in public enterprise there were three types of department, that was departmental undertakings, statutory corporation, and third is government company. As we have already discussed the departmental undertaking and statutory corporation in the previous class, so now today we will discuss about the government company, and after that we will move to learn about the private sector and global enterprise, in which we will learn about MNCs and all. So dear students, first of all we have to learn about the government company. So what do you mean by government company? So basically it is stated that a government company is a company in which not less than 50% of the paid up shares capital is held by the central or state government or jointly by both. It means government companies are those companies in which government has the control over the business activity or the economic activity of the company by acquiring 50%, 51% at least, or more than 51% paid up share capital either by central government or by state government or by both of them. It means government must control over the 51%, at least 51% share of that particular company, then that company will be known as government company. For example, Hindustan Insecticides Limited, State Trading Corporation of India, and Hindustan Cables Limited. These all are a kind of government company, because in these all companies the government has the shares of near about more than 51%. That's why on these companies government has its own control. So dear students, for it is clear, and as I have already discussed, that in any case if the controlling is to get over the company, then the person should get more than 51% or at least 51% shares, paid up share capital in that particular company. Either it is public company or private company or government company. So in all these cases 51% shares are minimum, 51% paid up share capital is required to control over the business. So it is simply stated regarding government company that it is clear that it may be the complete investment of central government, or it may be the complete investment of state government, or combinedly they can also invest in one company. And if the government is acquiring 51% paid up share capital in any one of the company, then that company will be turned into government company. And as we have already discussed the examples, now we will discuss about the features. As we know that, as we have already discussed, that company must be registered or incorporated under Companies Act. So it is registered or incorporated under Companies Act 1956, but as the new Company Act 2013 has been implemented, so it must be registered under Companies Act 2013 or 1956 or 2013 or any of the previous previous provision of Companies Act or any other or under any other scheduled Companies Act. Companies Act. So, dear students, this is the first feature, that the company is incorporated under Companies Act 1956 or 2013 or any other previous provision of Companies Act or any other scheduled Companies Act like banking company or insurance company or
Dear
others.
students, good morning.
Now, second point is it has a separate legal entity, as we have already discussed and as we have studied in the forms of business organization, that each and every company has separate legal entity, because all the companies are going to be registered and incorporated under a certain Company Act, and thereafter, after the incorporation, these companies are getting their existence in the society. That's why it has a separate legal entity. Next is management is regulated by the provision of Companies Act. Yes, because if the norms of article of association is not prepared, then we have to follow the norms of Companies Act table 21A. Next is employees are recruited and appointed as per the rules and regulations of regulations contained in memorandum and article of association. It means whatever rules and regulation contained in memorandum and article of association, the appointment or recruitment will be done according to that norms, and no one will violate or go beyond the norms. Next is the government company obtain its fund from government, shareholdings and other private shareholdings. So in government company, it can raise the funds by issuing share to government or by issuing share to public or other private company too. So in the case of raising funds, the government company can issue its share to private company, or the private placement of shares can be done directly to the private company or any specific person also, or directly to the state government or any other state government or the central government too, so that it can raise the fund. And it can also raise the fund from capital market. Capital market means open market. It means it can issue its prospectus openly and invite the shareholders or invite the people for share subscription, and by this work or by issuing the prospectus, these companies can collect its capital or fund. Now, on the basis of above study, we find following merits in government company, that is, it can be easily formed as per the provision of Companies Act. Only an executive decision of government is required. It means government company can be formed easily with the provision of Companies Act, and when the Companies Act is going to be followed, only executives' decisions of the government is required. It means there is no much more interference and legal formalities regarding establishment of government company. As it is required, it can be easily formed. The decision is completely dependent on the executives of the government. It means the persons who are going to execute the company's work. Now next is, it enjoys autonomy in management decision and flexibility in day-to-day working, because they are free. Since these companies are not under any ministry, that's why they are free to take their decision, they are free to do their work. So in day-to-day work, the decision is free and the working environment is flexible. Next is, these are able to control the market and curb unhealthy business practices. It means these government company can control over the market, as in the market so many private companies are there and they are trying to establish their monopoly in the market, and for this purpose they all are introducing different plans and different plans for the public and getting much more views and for getting much more views from the public, they try to introduce different terms, different programs, different plans in the business environment, and which creates a kind of cutthroat competition in the market for the survival, and for this competition each and every business enterprise think about their survival in the market, and they often used to introduce again and again a new ideas, new innovatives in the plans and programs in the product, so that they can attract their consumers, they can attract their customers in a large quantity. So due to these activities, if government company is going to introduce in the market, it can introduce their product easily and for the welfare of the society, which will control over the market, which will control over establishing the market, over establishing the monopoly over the market. So dear students, these were few merits of the government company. Now we will discuss about the limitations or demerits of the government company. So in this term, first of all, that it suffers from interference from government officials, ministers and politicians, because it is formed by the government, and since 51%, or we can say that the majority paid up share capital is in the hand of government, that's why in most of the term the government or official or ministerial or politicians interference are a lot in each and every step of the company. So these companies are not free to take any kind of decision. Before taking the decision, they have to go through some procedure or some formalities, and until or unless the formalities are not completed, it is quite impossible to take the decision. Next is, it evades constitutional responsibility which a company financed by the government should have, as it is not directly answerable to parliament. It means it has a constitutional responsibility. It means if any company has been formed or financed by the government, then they are not directly answerable to the parliament, they are answerable to that particular department or the government who have financed or who have supported the company to grown up or to survive. Next is the board usually consists the politicians and civil servants who are interested more in pleasing their political bosses than in efficient operation of the company. Yes, so many times it was seen that board of directors usually are related to the political background, and so many directors have their political background, and due to political background the civil servants who are interested more in pleasing their political bosses. Yes, because they think that if the boss will happy, then they will be get promoted in the work and they will be blessed or pleased in that organization. So due to this efficiency, the less efficiency is found and the work cannot be performed efficiently. So dear students, these were few limitations of government company. Now if we are thinking about the suitability of this organization, so it is suitable where the private sector is also needed along with the government, along with in government. And second is where activities related to finance are to be encouraged. So in these two terms, government company is better and government company can be promoted for their work. So dear students, now I think today you have learned a lot about government company. Thank you.